Alrighty, what's up? I am doing a video that probably doesn't need to be done again, considering that there's a lot of videos out on YouTube that are exactly like this. But right now I am trying to build a pedal board for worship guitar and pay the least amount of money that I possibly can. And I'm gonna give you guys a rundown of how much I spent. I'm gonna do some demos on it. I'll do a demo here at my desk. I'm just gonna plug straight in direct into my interface, record in Logic over some like tracks so you can hear what home recording would sound like. And then I'm also going to get multi-track recording from my church the next Sunday that I play electric guitar, and I'm going to use this rig. So instead of using what I typically use at church, I'm specifically going to use this with the intention of trying to see how well it works in a live worship situation. I understand that everyone's church has a little bit different of a setup. Ours might be a little bit different than yours, or a lot different than yours. But at the end of the day, I just want to see how this pedal board reacts in a live worship environment with a full band, as well as what it just sounds like playing along with tracks. The point of this build is to create something that's drop and play. I just want a pedal board that is versatile and can be plugged in and played anywhere. I'm going to aim for about 5 pedals, and I'm going to try to spend the least amount of money possible, and I'm going to show you guys my screen as I shop online and as I make these purchases, and I'm going to build the thing for you, and then we'll do the demos. Alright, so now I'm going to get shopping here. I purchased a Boss TU2 today from Guitar Center. And if I go on Reverb, you can see lots of different prices. I bought mine for about $45. So if you look here, you've got, look at this guy, $44.99 with $12 of shipping. That's where I'm going to start, is this Boss TU2. And it can be utilized as a mute, which I find to be extremely important and helpful. Plus, they're extremely durable, rugged, they last forever, and even outside, for the most part, you can see all the lights in the screen. Next thing I want to do is the Boss Super Drive. I personally think that you really can't go much better than an SD1 when it comes to cost, ruggedness, durability, and the sound that you're getting. I personally like the sound quite a bit. So look at this guy, $45 plus 12 shipping. I bought one today at Guitar Center for about $50. So, and you can get them brand new for like not even $60. So look at that one, brand new $59, brand new for $52. Yeah. The next one I'm going to do is delay. I am going to get the TC Electronic Profit for the delay. They are almost indestructible. They're kind of like the Boss pedals in that regard. All metal, really big plastic knobs, really great design. And my favorite part is that you can get these used for $40. I've seen them go as low as $30. They sound incredible, like absolutely phenomenal. The Brigade, I think it's a Bucket Brigade. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But it specializes in like dotted eighth delays, so really great for worship guitar. It really has that nice edge U2 kind of sound to it. It's got 3 knobs, your like mix, your time, and your delay. So that's gonna be my delay. I can't seem to find a lot of reverb pedals that are a good price, like around the $50 mark, that sound good. I feel like the majority of reverb pedals I play that are even $100 have the low end is just kind of flubby, and the high end stuff sounds artificial, like noticeably artificial. So yeah, I had the Shimverb Moore. I don't know how to say the name of the company, I'm sorry, but the Shimverb's cool. Like, don't get me wrong, I had it on my board for maybe a good 6 months years ago when I was first playing worship guitar, and it didn't suck. It was really cool, but when I was doing like atmospheric stuff or playing underscore or under a prayer or trying to do specific lead lines, it was noticeable to me, and it wasn't like uncomfortable, but it wasn't inspiring, if that makes any sense. That being said, it's very hard to find reverb pedals that do that, in my opinion, that are cheaper. Cool, look at that. I think I just bought a Sky Surfer. So yeah, it's a cool pedal, don't get me wrong. I don't want to talk trash on it. I'm delighted with what you can get out of it for $30 is what I just bought this one used for. So I'm going to stick with it. And last but not least, like I said earlier, I want this to be a drop and play kind of pedal board. I don't want there to require, like, I don't want the pedal board to require an amp. You could totally bypass using this pedal or buying this pedal if you have an amp, or if you already have an amp sim. But I really enjoy the Hot Tone binary amp. You really can't find anything as practical and versatile as this thing. I could not suggest anything else for under $100 that's going to do an amp sim, and it has a cab impulse response. So I'm using the Pedal Train Nano Plus for this build today. You can fit about 5 standard pedals. Reason being for that is that you can actually get those pretty cheap. Now here's the thing is, if you're building a pedal board on a budget, and like my goal is to build a decent board, some people will build their pedal boards out of like wood. They'll get like a pallet, they'll cut it up, or they'll go to the hardware store and build something. You can find used stuff that's plastic or what have you, and you can get some pretty good deals. You can see right here, Pedal Train Nano Plus, $45. That comes with a bag, the actual base itself, which is really nice because it's metal. It has feet, so you can hide cables underneath it. I think for any guitar player, I speak for about just darn near everybody, that it helps to have a pedal board that you build and fix everything to, especially one that's robust and metal. Keeps your pedals on a piece of something that's level and durable and makes it easier to carry around. Some people I know, like, they'll go to a gig, they've got 4 or 5 pedals, even sometimes they use batteries in one spots, and they literally pull everything out of a backpack and just set it on the ground. For me personally, I think it's worth the extra investment of buying a pedal board. Okay, so now I have everything here for the build. I'll show you right now. We've got our Pedal Train Nano Plus, we've got our TU2 tuner, our Superdrive 1, the Prophet, the Sky Surfer, our binary Hot Tone amp, and then the IMP2 direct box. And then above you can see I've got patch cables, I've got the Velcro and zip ties that came with my setup. I have the 9-volt one spot and the patch cables, I guess. I bought all of this literally today, either going to stores or meeting people via Facebook or Craigslist. I'm gonna put on a time lapse and get building, and you can see how I put it together. All right, so I'm just basically wrapped up. Isn't he pretty? This is kind of where I left off. I've got everything kind of zip tied against the back, and then you've got the actual power guide just hanging out the side here. There's not really room for much down here. You flip it around, and you can see how everything's patched in. Everything's got its power. This guy's over here on the side for the amp. I'm using these like Ernie Ball, I think is what it is. I don't know. They're like pancake patch cables. They're pretty solid. They sound pretty good. They're a little bit more robust than a lot of other things out there that's cheap. So I didn't necessarily go for the cheapest on the patch cables, but it's like brand new. I think it's only like $40 for 6. So it's not bad. I think I already said this, but I really appreciate the fact that these just can all butt up against each other. I will get it plugged in here soon, and we'll get gain set, and we can check it out, see how it goes. I'm recording straight into Logic via my PreSonus interface. My hope is that this gives you a pretty solid idea of what kind of tone you can get out of this at home for just recording and practicing and playing along. So here we go. Morgan's here. What's up? Hold on. Here's the board. And we're about to do some sound check. Just got everything set up. These are the cool cats.
There's the ending. You got big energy. Keep coming right at the end of that. Like, and then just right in the chorus. Yeah.
Before I spoke a word, you were singing over me. You have been so, so good to me, so good. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life in me. You have been so, so kind to me. And oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till unfound, leaves the 99. I couldn't love, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah. When I was your foe, still your love fought for me. You have been so, so good to me.
So, final thoughts. I have walked away from this incredibly impressed with how this little board has, how this board is done. Honestly, my expectations were actually really, really low. I'm of the opinion that no matter what price point, no matter what kind of build, no matter what company, if you can make something sound pleasing to your own ears, then it's good. Own it. Even if somebody else on YouTube says that a pedal does or doesn't sound good, I don't really think that matters. I think what matters is whether or not you're going to put in the time and effort to find the things that you find pleasing to your own ear, and then you own it. Just like the people in your life that stand out to you and have their own unique character traits and personality, it's the same with pedals. They all have their own unique kind of thing going on for the most part, and what you do with them is what you do with them, and that's kind of what makes each guitar player unique. And as flattering as it is to a guitar player to try to sound like somebody else, I think the really cool thing about guitar, or any musical instrument for that matter, is making it your own. These are all pedals that I put together that I don't use a lot, except maybe the amp sim. I will use that for church on and off, but my expectations were still really low, and I'm actually really thrilled with how this board turned out. I think this is an incredibly versatile board that can be used in a lot of different applications, not just worship. There's so many products out there right now that all do a lot of amazing things, but at the same time, the ability to have these pedals be able to actually feel the knobs and physically adjust things and hear it in real time, there's a feeling and a sensation that some guitar players really enjoy when they get to have their hands actually touch a real amp and feel air move behind them. And I'm one of those guitar players that prefers to play out of an actual tube amp with a pedal board. And that doesn't mean that I don't like the Helix or any of these other products. But I guess what I'm really trying to get at with all of this is to say that anything is really possible. The world is your oyster. there's so many different options and varieties of things to choose from, and different ways that you can arrange your effects and make it work. And I think that there's a lot of beauty in that. And I also think that there's a lot of beauty in simplicity, like only having one drive pedal, only having one delay and one reverb. It forces you to learn the pedal really well and to adjust how you pick, how you play, how much you dig in or don't dig in, what you play or what you don't play. I think that really helps you improve as a player as well, and that's another beautiful aspect to this. And the fact that you're not spending as much money is great too. Something I want to point out, before I even made this video, I was putting out comments and feelers out in different Facebook groups and parts of the internet. Something a lot of people were saying is, why don't you just get an HX Stomp? I will say that an HX Stomp retails for about $650, and that's not a negative thing to say. In fact, I think that that's an incredible feat. I mean, if you think about 20 years ago, $650 would not get you a product, just a single product that can do what the HX Stomp can do. I think it's a remarkable piece of equipment, and I would love to have one. But I already have so much other stuff that I'm delighted with. I'm happy with where I'm at. I don't really need it. You know, there are players who could greatly benefit from that kind of product, and it makes a lot of sense for them to save up their money and to buy that. But this whole build that I just did keeps you at about half that price. I mean, you could probably buy one used and still be at half the price if you went ahead and did what I did. But there's a lot of players out there like myself. I mean, years ago, I couldn't have ever dreamt of spending that kind of money on just one pedal, or any one piece of gear for that matter. But as time goes on and you continue to play and get better and better and better, it makes more sense, and hopefully you'll have the kind of money to afford that. And I think that's just a general story with all guitar players. So if you can't afford a product like that, don't beat yourself up over it. You know, everyone starts somewhere. I started with a DD3 and an OCD, which are both incredible pedals, mind you, but I inherited them from a family member, and that was all I had to work with for a long time. And I think the first time I ever played them, I went straight into a DI box without an amp or cab sim, straight into a PA, and it sounded horrendous. Okay, but if I never had that experience, I don't know where I'd be now, you know? We all start somewhere. It makes us better players. The better we get, the more gigs we get. The more gigs we get, the more money we get, and it's growth. It's the story, it's the grind. We all face it. And there's a lot of beauty in that, and I think it should be celebrated and not something that is limiting. So in the meantime, for those players out there who can't afford these really nice products, just grind, practice, your time will come, and you will get the things that you so desperately want. And then when you get them, you might end up not even liking them at all, you know? And then you sell it on Reverb, and the spiral continues, and somebody else ends up doing the exact same thing. That whole long spiel to say, I think this is a really, really solid build. I would not even think twice about playing it again at church, or for any other gig for that matter. I might switch some things around. The possibilities are endless. It's all personal preference. It's all what you want it to be. So at the end of the day, have fun, do what makes you happy. Now, if this pedal board is something that you're interested in and you would like to have that board, you can find all the products online, either through Musician's Friend, Sweetwater, Reverb. There's tons of websites. You can find it on you can find it on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. I do want to make a point to say that I'm not sponsored by any particular product or company. So all of these pedals, this entire build, I paid for myself. Thanks so much for sticking around. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for participating. Thanks for giving this video a thumbs up. And I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Take care.